It's track reviews.
Hey, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. And it's time for a couple of track reviews. I'm going to give my thoughts on a few newly leaked onto the internet Frank Ocean songs that apparently come off of a few singles that he dropped a pre-order for that coincided with that New York club night that he had a little while back last year. So fans have been dropping, CD quality, high quality versions of these tracks online, Dear April and Cayendo. We're going to try both tracks and hopefully get a sense of what Frank's sound is evolving into, becoming. Not entirely sure if we will be able to do that because from what I understand, these tracks are acoustic versions of the songs, and maybe down the road we might hear an electric version of the track. This could be final, this could be not entirely sure. That being said, I will listen to what we actually have here in front of us in terms of Dear April and Cayendo, and I'm just crossing my fingers hoping that they turn out better than In My Room and DHL. Both of which saw Frank going in a trappier, trippier, druggier, rappier direction that was quite underwhelming. It would be nice to hear something that's just a bit more, tuneful, or maybe even hearing Frank embark in this direction once again, but just coming together with a more compelling song or just better lyrics, a better vocal performance. Who knows? I guess we'll see. So let's give a try to Cayendo first. Then we'll do Dear April on the back end, and I'll give my thoughts on each of them after each of them plays. Ba-bam. All right, Cayendo. Like that one quite a bit. Very stripped back, very simple. Frank Ocean and a guitar, sounds like an electric guitar, a bit of a solo at the very, very, very end. Faintly, Frank's voice doubled up a bit, and it is a pretty intimate recording. Seems almost completely untouched or unedited, meaning that there are a lot of spots that normally in a studio recording would have been cleaned up, or would have been just, it would have been attempted to avoid having these sounds get into the mix in the first place. Example, there's a point very quietly where you can hear Frank clear his throat. There's another point, I think, in the second half where you can actually hear some rhythmic tapping going along, like someone's patting their leg or, just hitting their foot on the floor. So again, pretty intimate in the moment recording, but still heavily touched up with those effects. Regardless, what's the biggest surprise about this track is Frank singing in Spanish, a Spanish-English mix. Don't know exactly what drove him in that direction, but here we are. And it doesn't sound bad. I wouldn't say it adds too much to the track for me personally, but certainly a change of pace. Ultimately, what ends up selling the song, though, is that the tune is solid. As far as songwriting quality goes, it sounds like something that could have even been on Blonde. And the vocal performance is a bit more powerful and a bit more expressive than I think we're usually used to hearing Frank. Around the 145 mark or so, he really starts pushing into his upper register, really starts giving us some volume, really starts voices cracking a little bit, sounding very, very, very emotive. And, look, I would love to hear Frank pushing in this direction just a little bit more. There are songs and there are times where I think vocally he is a bit more comatose than I would like him to be for somebody who operates in the genre that he does. But still, it's a very moody tune. And I will say once more, it sounds like something that could go toe-to-toe or just fit very snugly in between any number of tracks off of Blonde. So while I do prefer this sound and I do like this song more than DHL or In My Room, it doesn't sound too different from anything that Frank could have done in that era of his career. So if you're looking for a huge change of pace here or for the next step in Frank's evolution, don't know if this is exactly it. Because for Frank, this is a pretty typical sound, though we get so little music from Frank generally, I guess. I guess even something like this is great. So I guess I'll leave it at that. It's a solid song. Don't know if this is what is considered to be the final version per se, but in the raw state that it's delivered here, it sounds pretty good. Let me give this next track, Dear April, a shot. Give that one a try, and we'll see if Frank is doing anything different there. All right. That was the alpha of those two tracks. A little bit more instrumentally dense, as we do have not just that watery sounding guitar that we had from the previous track. Some keys on this one. What sounds like some synth bass maybe, just kind of roaring in the background, making the whole thing a bit heavier. Generally, it is a heavier mix, a heavier sounding song than Cayendo. Frank's voice here didn't really have kind of that same stunning vocal moment that Cayendo had, but still, I think the tune on this one is more solid. The lyrics are more interesting as well. Obviously, there's a language barrier there with Cayendo, but there are some English lyrics that weren't really sticking out to me all that much. But I loved the idea of this person being the only face in the crowd that I know. Also loved the refrain on here, the two strangers with the two strange lives. I thought that was a really clever, beautiful, moving turn of phrase that Frank pulled together there. And the way that the instrumental opened up a little bit toward the end and started throwing in more background vocals, more weird, pitchy shots of vocal that sounded a little surreal, almost Bon Iver-esque, what he was doing there toward the end of the song. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything about this track I enjoyed a lot more than Cayendo. Though again, not to say Cayendo is bad, but really I think how stripped back and skeletal that track was in comparison to this did end up making it just a bit less engaging. Dear April is definitely the fave for me out of these two. But having said that, I still prefer both of these tracks to In My Room and DHL, and hopefully Frank, when he does drop a record, more of the songs end up lining up more in this direction than anything he was doing on those tracks, assuming he doesn't improve on that front. I mean, I suppose there is a way to do a service to that very dejected, druggy style of hip-hop that he was embarking on there. Certainly other artists have done it well in the past, but it's something that, from those two songs at least, it sounds like it's not exactly Frank's strong point. On these two songs, he seems very much more to be in his comfort zone and doing well, singing well, writing well, and ultimately that is what matters the most. So Dear April, Cayendo, liked both of these tracks, loved Dear April, and I think I will leave it at that. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of these two cuts. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Why? What do you think I should review next? And yeah, that's it. Anthony Fantano, Frank Ocean, forever.